I came to be interested in this concept of trauma stewardship is through my personal path of losing my mind, essentially, over a number of years. I started formally doing trauma work when I was 18, and I would volunteer overnight in homeless shelters when I was in undergrad. And then I got into child abuse, then I got into domestic violence, then I got into working with women in the sex trade, and then when I moved up here, I continued with those, and then also worked in Harborview in the trauma center, and with various other places. And over time, I started losing my mind, and it really, really, really started taking a toll on me. And as that started happening, many people tried to encourage me to take some time off. So loved ones, people I didn't know that well, clients, which is what I always say. When your clients are like, really? Take some time off. Like, no, I'm fine. I'm coming in on the weekend to be with you. And they're like, no, really, take some time off. So a lot of people had tried to reflect back to me that I was tripping and having a hard time and not doing so well. And I was very, very arrogant, and I was very, very self-righteous, and I was very, very indignant. And I didn't listen, and I didn't think anything was wrong. So the turning point comes from when I had been doing work for about 10 years in. This is from the introduction. "Are you sure all this trauma work hasn't gotten to you?" he asked. "We were visiting our relatives in the Caribbean. We'd hiked to the top of some cliffs on a small island, and for a moment the entire family stood quietly together, marveling, looking out at the sea. It was an exquisite sight, turquoise water as far as you could see, a vast cloudless sky, and air that felt incredible to breathe. As we reached the edge of the cliffs, my first thought was, this is unbelievably beautiful. My second thought was, I wonder how many people have killed themselves by jumping off these cliffs. Assuming I was merely giving voice to what each person was thinking, I posed this question out loud. How can you not? Now we're having like a little family conversation, everybody was going to engage, everybody else I'm sure was thinking, you can relate, my friend from the ICU, like, how do you feel on top of cliffs? Not wonder about, like, do they have an Airlift Northwest helicopter in the Caribbean, Trauma One Center, how closely, I mean, who doesn't think about that? So I thought I was starting a meaningful discussion. My stepfather-in-law turned to me slowly and asked his question so sincerely that I finally understood. My work had gotten to me. I had always considered myself a self-aware person, but this moment was the first time I truly comprehended the degree to which my work had changed me. And that was a very big moment, because honestly, to that point, I thought everyone else around me, and anyone else I could imagine, right, were also identifying perpetrators in the grocery store, feeling pity whenever you got a wedding invitation, right, and doing background checks on people you date, making sure you never answered your phone, that you always use caller ID, and so this is when I finally got, even though people for years had tried to kind of reflect back to me, this was the first time I was like, wow, I am totally tripping. So that started the process of getting very curious about secondary trauma, trying to figure out what my deal was. And so I started that path, and I basically put myself at the feet of anybody I could find who was wise and spiritual and who could teach me. And I really sought out people who had been through very, very, very hard things and had come out radiant, had come out with senses of humor, had come out not being a martyr, had come out healthy and well. And so I was able to find those people in the United States. I was able to travel and find those people. I was very, very, very blessed to be able to find people who could guide me on this path that I started on. And then I was fortunate enough through several of the jobs I had to be able to develop work around this, so to be able to develop a way to think about this and some curriculum around this.